Okay, well, on to the next game. We have our matchup against Arizona State. Obviously, last weekend didn't go well. You guys talked to me after the game, and after watching the film, it's come back basically to we got to find a way to get better and learn from it. I think we've too many mistakes to overcome. Hard to do against a really good team. Kansas is not an easy opponent. I think you look at the conference. There's a lot of parity in the conference, and anyone has a shot. And especially when you make too many mistakes as a team. So we're not able to overcome it, but we've had to learn from it. So even though it happened, we all have to learn from it. We all need to improve, myself included, as head coach. And all three phases need to get that going because we don't have a lot of time. We've got to get ready for the next one against Arizona State, who's done some really good things. And looking at their team, I mean, Kenny Dillingham's a really good coach, and I like the way he does. I have a lot of respect for him and the way he coaches his team. You can tell he's got a great connection with his players, and he's a local kid, so he's from that area. So he grew up, ASU fan, and knows what that program can do. And I like that he's brought in a staff that I think he did the right way, bringing in a lot of local staff and great. I mean, I know a lot of guys on his coaching staff that they're really good coaches, good men. And so looking at their talent that they have, it's a difficult matchup. You have to be ready. We're going on the road. We already know the time for that game, and that be a little better weather than what we have in here. But looking forward to the matchup. I think the goal is for us to, like we said every week, stay humble, stay hungry, and find ways to get better. We can definitely do that from last week. A lot of things to learn, but also some really good things to praise. So I think we can get to our position of just getting back to learning and getting better and focus on the next opponent. It's a difficult matchup. You look at what they do as a team, and I like the way they play the game. So it's going to be a cool matchup, and hope it brings out the best in us. And we're going to need that going into this game Saturday. So what questions do you guys have for me?
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Jared Lloyd.
Kalani, when the offense is struggling to put up points like you have the last 2 weeks, how much do you focus on executing what you're already running, and how much do you focus on changing and maybe going different directions? How do you balance that?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between it all, because you want to be able to. The key to execution is just eliminating the mistakes. There shouldn't be any mistakes. Whether it's alignment issues or technique issues, or even running the wrong route or not doing the correct assignment. So all that should be cleaned up. But there's also some room for improvement where you can actually install some stuff. You want to have a foundation of stuff that you're good at and that you could lean on. But that's the stuff that everybody knows is coming. So we have to have that, and you have to have a little bit installed that gives you the favorable matchup, depending on who you're going against. So that's what we're trying to get done. Obviously, it's worked quite a bit, and the offense, they're getting in the red zone. We just got to score touchdowns. It's hard to get in the red zone and only kick field goals, even though you have a good kicker like Will Ferrin. You're going to need to score points and score touchdowns and finish the drives. It gives you a little bit more motivation and a little bit more oomph when you're trying to get it done. So that's what we're focusing on. We'll get there. I feel good about this matchup this weekend, and for us to learn from some of the things, the lessons that we can learn from this last game.
You touched on this after the game, but now with a chance to look at the film, Kalani, what were the red zone issues? Why did the offense really struggle there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things. It's from the poor execution, communicating better, and that's what it comes down to. But you also give credit for Kansas for making the plays. I mean, that's just part of the game. That's the game of football. Everybody would like to be perfect and be 100%. But the key is, like, you have chances, you have opportunities to make plays. It's really difficult when you turn the ball over in that situation, when you can, at least the worst case scenario, you come up with 3 points from it, and then it's a successful drive. It's really hard when you come away with nothing, and that's the main thing is we cannot be coming up with 0 points in that situation when we're in there.
Thanks, Jared. We'll take our next questions from Jay Drew and then Jake Hatch.
Kalani, BYU's had quite the history with Arizona State from the distant past. Obviously, you faced them when you were at Utah quite a bit in the Pac-12. Is there a rivalry there? Is there any extra motivation, or is this just kind of nothing needs to be said because it's such a huge game on the Big 12 stage?
Well, I think we're going to focus on the game, but you look at the strong LDS community in the area, in the Phoenix area. I think there's a lot of connections. There's a lot of people that we know from there. We're bordering states, and so naturally that's always going to have being familiar and knowing each other is going to have a little bit more in the competition compared to not knowing anybody on the other side. And so that's going to be part of it. But I think looking at what they do as a team, man, you can't be anything but impressed with how they coach their guys, how hard the players play, and the results that they're getting. And so they're ranked for a reason, and I feel this connection to them because nobody cared about us before the season. None of you guys even predicted this happening. So to have this game be something with a lot of meaning is really cool at this point, and that's a huge compliment to their coaches, their staff, and their fans. And so it's going to be fun to go down there and have this matchup. And we know that there's people in the area that are fans of ASU and there's fans of us. So that's going to be kind of fun that we're in the same conference and able to have this game.
And then just following up, I know Crew Wakely went out. I don't think he came back in the game. What's his status? By chance, was it season ending?
No, it's not season ending. There's a chance he could play this weekend. Obviously, you have to be able to practice, and so we're looking at it the next little bit. But yeah, it hurt us not having him back in the game. But I thought the guys that came in, Raider Damuni and others that came in to replace him, did some really good things. And so we're ready to play if he's able to go, but he's got to be ready to practice. And so he's not out for this week, and he's definitely not out for the season. So we're hoping to get him back this Saturday.
Kalani, you talked about the fact you want to see more scoring in the red zone. Will you alter your practice structure to emphasize that this week?
No, we just got to be better in practice and be more efficient. And sometimes, execution's got to be the key. And everybody wants to score in the red zone. We're no different than anyone else. We've been throughout the season. We've been one of the top teams in the country at scoring in the red zone. It's just the last 2 weeks. It's been kind of this hasn't gone our way. So we just got to refocus, find ways to improve, and make sure that we get in the end zone this time. That's the goal.
You guys were reportedly in the mix to bring Sam Levitt in when he was in the transfer portal this past offseason. What do you see from him on film?
Really good player. I mean, he comes from a good family and so he's super athletic. He can run. He's got an accurate arm. I think he's got a great football IQ, and so he's dangerous. He's got a lot of football to play. I think he saw some opportunities over there at ASU, and look at him, he's thriving in it. So he's going to be a difficult matchup for us for sure. But man, it's good to see good young men that are from amazing families that get what they want. And he's doing some really cool things, and he's going to be doing really good things for a long time because I think he's only a freshman right now. So the sky's the limit for him. Hopefully, we just don't see that great sky's the limit performance this weekend.
Go ahead, Mitch Harper.
Kalani, you brought it up on Saturday, and Chase did as well, that you guys no longer independents. There's so much still on the line. Does that give you confidence that this team will bounce back quicker from a loss than maybe in recent years when there wasn't as much on the line this late in the season?
Yeah, I think we had to kind of explain that to them at the end of the game in the locker room, that because there's a little bit of that feeling of when you lost to Coastal Carolina or you lose a game early and then you're just you're out of the mix for a New Year's Six bowl and things like that. Now we're in a conference. We're still sitting at the top of the conference, but really all that stuff doesn't really matter. We just had to explain to them that we're focused on trying to win the next one, learn our lessons from this, praise the good things that happened, but we have the system's still the same, and the process is still the same. We have to be humble and be hungry and be able to move on to the next one and get ready for Super Bowl 11. Obviously, Super Bowl 10 didn't go our way, but that it's worked for us. Being whether the the outcome was in our favor or not, we have to be in this same situation. We got to move on to the next one and find ways to get better. You just can't let the sting of a game or the excitement and energy to win of a game affect the next week, and that's what we got to get back to. And I feel like this will be a good lesson for our guys and be a good moment for us to learn, and it's a really good position us to be in. That's why I love our partnership and our membership in the Big 12, is that we have this opportunity to keep playing, and there's a lot to play for still. And so that's going to be our focus. But with all that being said and done, let's get back to being at our best and playing at our best, and if we can do that, we will live with the result. And that's going to be the goal for going into this week.
Coming out of the film review on Kansas, what stood out on the defensive effort from that game, and maybe areas that you want to see improvement heading down the final stretch of the season?
Well, I mean, it just seems like some of the mistakes that we make, and give Kansas a lot of credit for making plays, and they did a lot of unique, different things that we didn't see on film. They did just some unique formations and unique plays. But when you look at it, we held them to the lowest output of the season. You're looking at the yards and the points. What matters is we need to hold them to less points than what we did. We got to score more than them, and the defense, we've got to find a way to hold them to less points. And I know Jay and the rest of the defensive staff feel like we could have played better. So we're not going to be sitting there saying, okay, great, that was awesome with the defense. The defense could have done more, and really, it's the stuff that we can fix. You go through were we aligned correctly? Did we know our assignment? Did we communicate well? And did we use the proper technique? Let's go and fix those things right away. And if we can get that done today, we would have played better last week. But now we definitely can't make those same mistakes going into Saturday. But to combine that with, you did some wonderful things too. The stuff that you did well, let's motivate them to keep doing that and be consistent in that behavior and those plays that we did a great job. Otherwise, we're just too focused on all the negative things when the defense actually did some good things, offense did some good things, and so did special teams. We just didn't do enough good things to overcome the mistakes that we made as a team.
Thanks, Mitch. We'll take our last couple questions from Jake Hatch and then Jared Lloyd.
Kalani, I asked you about Sam Levitt. I also want to ask you about Kemp Scadaboo. He seems to be kind of the heart and soul of that offense. What do you see from him on film?
Oh, man, he's a dangerous running back. And so I know a lot of credit goes to the running back, but you have to give credit to that O-line. Big, strong, physical. Receivers block downfield. Their tight ends block really well too. So, and then there's a number of backs that can run the ball. And so they well-coached team. Marcus Arroyo's their offensive coordinator. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to set up an offense. Their coaches, Hines Ward's are coaching the receivers. I mean, it's an all-star cast when you look at their coaching staff, so they're coaching them well. But when you combine that with a kid that can just run, I really like the way he plays the game of football. He's physical, but you could tell he's having fun out there. And man, it's been a pleasure watching him play. I just don't want to have fun watching him play this Saturday. It's a tough task, but I'm hoping that we can get our guys ready this week and prepare for this tough matchup. And then when we go through this tough matchup, just like how they had the same approach going to the Kansas game, we have to be ready to stop them, and that's hard to do when they can throw the ball, run the ball, and they have so many players that complement each other on the offensive side. A lot of dangerous weapons with some great coaching. It's a tough task, but we've got to find a way to answer it.
And then also just a quick scouting report of their defense.
Yeah, defense is opportunistic to find ways to make plays. They're dangerous up front. A lot of physicality to their game. You don't go into Kansas State, into Manhattan, and just hold them to that low output like they did if you're not a good team. So tons of talent. And I know a lot of this game of football, everybody gives a lot of attention to the offense, but this defense can play, and they have tons of talent on their team. I think Coach Dillingham and the staff's done a great job developing their guys. You can tell they have a really great culture on their team, and they're starting to believe and feel really confident in what they're doing, and they should be, because they've made some really cool things happen in the game of football, and I like what they're doing. It's going to be a cool matchup, and looking forward to going to that game.
Kalani, you mentioned crew. Just wondering about the overall health of your team. You're late in the season here. How do you feel like they've held up with all the work that you guys put in the offseason to try and be ready for this?
The guys are banged up. That's the game. I mean, nobody should be feeling 100% that's playing football right now, and that's not just on our side, but everywhere. Guys are banged up, and You might have to go into your depth a little bit. I thought Isaiah Jota came in and did a great job at tackle for us. We've had Bruce Mitchell and Sonny Makasini and others step up at O-line. Now that Connor's back, it's good to have him back. But a lot of guys are banged up. You just got to – this is tough man football. The difference between banged up and not able to go is that's you can't expect it to be perfect. So ASU's playing banged up. We are. That's the game of football. When you get to the 11th game, it's just a matter of who's willing to do it and who's willing to make those plays. And it's going to hurt anyways. You might as well try to make it work out in your favor. And then we have some guys that we can lean on with our depth. We got guys that are coming back from injury. Obviously, we hope to see Kime back in the postseason. But Sione Mo should be back with us too. And as guys start to trickle back in, we can really lean on the depth of our team to help alleviate some of the banged up guys. But the game of football, that's just, you have to learn how to play with a little bit of soreness. Even coaches, I'm banged up. My legs hurt. It's okay. We just got to keep going,
It's a play you're not going to see very often, but do you address that booch kick and how that might happen? Do you address it differently for what happened on Saturday?
You have to. I mean, that's. I think we're so focused on getting a stop there because we've seen so many teams just go for it in that situation, and that was unfortunate the way it worked. I thought Evan did a great job. He was playing man-to-man coverage, and so when the ball was in the air, I don't think he realized that it was kicked. He's focused on being on his island by himself, and so when it bounced off his face, we still had a chance to recover it. When that happens, you have to get on the ball because it hit our own guy. Normally, if you could see that the kick happening, you just get away from it, and they get the ball, in backed up for our offense. But at least you don't give up points. It's hard that those events happened, and then they get the ball on the 3-yard line, and you just have to play ball. But if it's on the 3-yard line, let's answer that and stop them and force them to kick a field goal. It's things like that. You just have to have a different type of mindset playing defense, and sometimes things go your way and sometimes they don't. How are you going to react to it? I don't think our response to that whole situation, because I believe they just ran the ball and scored a touchdown there. And it's like, I don't like that response. I want to see it be different. I want to see us respond better to that. And so this game didn't go in our favor. I want to see our response be a lot different. And if it's going to be different, then I got to lead the way. I got to be an example to it. From what I see from the boys today and what I felt from after the game, I feel like they're in a really good spot right now. I'm excited to see these guys play after this. If we face some adversity, we face a loss. Now we're going to learn from it, and let's see what type of team comes out. This is a good moment for our identity to show.
Thanks so much, Coach. It's always great to see you. Have a great week.
Great to see you guys. Thank you.